Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday at Two Lines. It's a special night for me because I've got Pamela from Super Tires joining us tonight, and I've already got her on screen. Um, I'm excited to hear her story, but she is the sponsor of Tuesday at Two Lines, and Super Tires is, and I'm excited to have you. So, Pamela, welcome. Thanks for joining
Thank
tonight.
you.
It looks like we've got
Well,
like almost 40 people in the chat already. Um, and so we'll get busy. I will do some shout outs here. We've got Ernest and Chris and Shotgun Dave is in the house. Dave, I don't know if you know Dave. Dave is one of the guys that's
yeah.
designing these 3D printed slot cars that we've been playing with. And they just released new trucks like NAS truck, a Chevy and a Ford. And
Wow.
we're I think the U.S. side of the hobby is pretty excited about getting their hands on those. So
Yeah.
they announced those last night on a live stream, and it was kind of fun to hear about that. So that's Dave. Let's see, Curvy Road is here. Hillbilly Slot Cars is in the house. The other Marty Ford. Marty is from Indiana, but he lived in Cincinnati for a while. This is funny. All the UK guys, they say that we spell tires wrong. They
Yep.
want that Y
I
in
get
there.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're always giving me a hard time. White Wolf is here. Frank is in. Hey, Frank. Good to see you. Mr. Albright. John is one of my buddies out in San Francisco. Is a guy that so many of the people we've never met in person, but I feel like they're great friends already because of just what we've developed online and in this community, which is pretty cool. Let's John say lay down some decals. Then oh crap, it's Marty time. That's funny. Um, Muffman79 was the winner of our Super Tires prize from
Yep.
week one. That was pretty cool.
Right.
Rob got to hang out with Rob on Saturday. He was racing down at Steve's. Um, yeah, so Valentine's in, Nick is in, and we got a bunch of people in. The chat is always busy. It starts before the live stream even starts. So if you went out there and
I
like
did see
watch,
that.
yeah, there's guys. I don't know what time they jump in there. It's like we don't start till 8, and at 7 o'clock you go out there and there's people talking already. So it's nuts. But guys, John Tucci, welcome. I'm going to stop with the shout outs and let's get to meet Pam. So Pamela, just tell us a little bit about you and your
Okay.
family, and then tell us a little bit about how you got into Super Tires, how it started, so we can get to know the the channel sponsor.
Sure. Thank you so much, Marty, for having me. I would have had Todd with me, but he's a little bit more on the camera shy side. He's my silent partner. So, yeah, I'll keep that one on the low. But anyway, Todd and I have been married 25 years. We have 4 kids, and three of them are young adults. They're in their early 20s. And Emily, she's our 12-year-old. And um, gosh, my just to start out with Super Tires, I personally took over Super Tires when my dad passed a couple months after he passed, and my husband and my son were working with my dad part time, so they got to share everything that they learned with me, just so we could take it over. How long have I been in the hobby for? I don't personally race myself right now. I don't really have the time. My husband plays more with that than I do, but my dad started off with HO slot cars, so I grew up with a track in our basement, and that's what we did for fun. It was a pretty large track too. He took that track out of the house and put it into his shop where he opened up a speedway. So he had three big HO slot car tracks and had races every Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. I think there might have been a Wednesday night there a little bit in the wintertime when they were doing drags and stuff like that. But my dad had race programs going all the time in the evening after working all day.
That's cool.
So, yeah, I mean, that's just how we got started. Do you
Where
want
was
me
that
to go ahead
located?
and just so Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
Right in Buffalo, New York, there's a town called Williamsville, and my dad had a speedway called Williamsville National Speedway. So that's where he got started. It was kind of a dream of his because my dad was a bricklayer and a stonemason by trade. So he worked with his father. They were both bricklayers. They did blasting concrete work. My dad was an engineer, so he, drew buildings and stuff like that. And but always had a passion for slot cars. I swear that they would give a gleam in his eye every time
Yeah.
he got to take one apart, build one, whatever. But so when my dad kind of retired, with doing bricklaying and things like that, during that, before he did, he started the Speedway. And with those race programs and everything, it got so big, he moved it from the small garage to the big garage. He used to own a repair shop that him and my grandfather built, and that they were running that part time. They had people running it, that was on our in our backyard. So commercially, my dad and my grandfather always worked together and did stuff like that. So when he brought the track into the speedway, he just how do I say this? Like he had like three 8-lane tracks. I can't even tell you what the other two look like. One was a big oval, but the one that was in our basement was so cool. It was an 8-lane track. So we had four people on one side, four people on the other. Every lane was colored, kind of like what you see now. My dad would wipe that track down before and after every race. And that's how he got started actually with super tires, going through. Going through a lot of tires would either slip off. Back then there were a lot of foam tires on cars, on the slot cars and on the HOs. And, after a night of racing, you'd have to buy another pair. They wouldn't
Right.
last as long. So, I think he just kind of, had that wheels turning in his head that he goes, maybe I got to come up with something. And he did. Man, he spent years doing this. And yeah, he had between my grandfather and then his friend Jerry. They came up with compounds. They were mixing different things, and after coming up with a mold, they came up with a test mold. This was actually the first test mold that my dad ever used. These are probably very close to a Tyco tire. I took them out, and this is just a test mold. Our molds don't look like this now. This is 30 years old.
Yeah.
So, but these silicones come out, they are still squishable. They still squish, they're still pliable, they do not rip, and they don't get hard over time. These are
Yeah.
30 years old, these
30 years
tires that
old.
are in here. And it was a paperweight on his desk
That's cool.
after he designed a few molds. But so this speedway, it was so cool because my dad, he ordered parts from Wizard, REH Distributing back in the day. And there's more, there's other ones. I think BSRT was one of them too, which would be like Scale Auto. They were out of Washington, I think, BSRT. I'm not sure if they're still around. I think they might sell cars and stuff like that. But so he would buy parts, and he would have this whole glass case full of parts and cars and everything, pickup shoes, springs, magnets, and you name it. They even built cars, and they had the Lexan bodies, and everybody was painting them. They'd have contests all the time. It was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
It was the coolest thing to see all these people come on a Tuesday and Friday night and race in these classes. So back before the internet, before
Right.
there was everything on the internet, my dad took Polaroids every week of the winning racers.
That's
And
cool.
we still have some of them, but I
Yeah.
posted them on a Facebook page for Williamsville National Speedway so people can see some of the old Polaroids back from the 80s and early 90s because they were instant.
Yeah.
So that's why he did that.
Yeah. That's what I was. My next question was, what years were those? They had the Speedway. It was through the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, actually, and I'm looking at this here from 1989 to 1999. He did the
Okay.
Speedway.
That's cool.
Yeah, he was pretty dedicated with those weekly races. I don't think he missed one.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple, but when he was in the hospital, but back then, but maybe a couple, but that was his. He looked forward to that.
And so what when he started the 132nd scale stuff, so that's because he had the Speedway and they were running 132nd scale.
Actually, it was all HO.
It was all HO.
His
Okay.
Speedway was all HO back then. When it's going back when he started making these tires, he was buying parts from REH Distributing. They're out of Ohio as
Yep.
well, or we're out of Ohio as well. And when my dad started making these tires and using them on, his regular race programs, he talked to, well, the owner of REH at the time. I think his name was Bob, I thought it was, but Robert, when he sent him tires, when he sent him slot car tires for like certain Tyco cars and AF cars and Lifelike cars, he goes, "How many do you have?" And my dad was like, 10,000. I have 10,000 pair. And he goes, "I'll take them all." That is how Super Tires got started, actually, with HO, all HO. So I think at this point, Super Tires makes every tire for an HO slot car except for one that just might have recently came out in the last year or two, which I'm going to get and look into.
Yeah.
But we have all the HOs throughout down right
That's
now.
awesome.
And as far as 132nd scale goes, when my dad stopped the speedway and retired for bricklaying, um, he got connected. Well, there was a racetrack here in Niagara Falls, New York, and he used to race there with this guy named Ron who owned the track, and he did a lot of tire testing there. And he ended up getting in contact with Bruce. Bruce from Cincy Slots has a big, key role in my dad bringing in 124 scale as well.
Okay.
So, uh, I got to tell you though, 132nd scale keeps us busy.
Yeah.
They keep us very busy.
That's awesome.
From September till May, it is crazy busy with 132nd scale. I mean, all of them are, but that is probably the scale that just kept me working 6 days a week last year, sometimes seven.
Wow.
So just to get the orders out.
That,
So
that's awesome though. You think about all the different, I mean, how many different tires do you make for, I guess, all the scales? Do you have any idea?
all the scales together, including silicone and urethane, we have over 344 different part numbers. So
That's
that would be
wild.
if I had a 1400 in silicone, I have that in zero grip and in urethane.
Okay.
So zero grip is a urethane. It's just you can't make well, we don't make zero grips in silicone, but so that one part number has three different compounds. So that's three different parts. So we have over, I really should figure that out. It's over 344. And then by the end of August, it's probably going to be close to 360 because we have 6 new tires coming out by the time August is over.
Oh wow. Are
Yeah.
those for new cars that have just been released with new wheels?
Some, yes. A
Yeah.
Carrera, yes. Well, we're doing the Carrera Pantera tire, which I have a box here I'm sending you
Okay.
this week. Those are in there. The new Revo tires. This is the new Revo slot Porsche. Those are our tires on there. What a great
Nice.
fit. They don't slide off. So these are going to be available soon at dealers and distributors, but not yet because I need to build up the inventory. Um, I won't put anything out for sale yet. What we are going to be working on are the Pioneer Legends. These have been around for a while, but they're very popular and high demand. Um, what else do I have coming out? I had
So is
two
that a new
124
a new
scale
mold
cars.
for those Legends tires?
I will. I don't have, I just actually picked up those cars, or my husband did. So we're going
Gotcha.
to take that to the machine shop when I pick up new molds next week.
That's cool.
So,
Yeah,
and
because
then I'll
we
probably slow down a little bit
yeah
until after the first of the year.
yeah that's awesome. I know that that would be one thing that would make life easier for you, is if there was kind of a standard wheel size that but it seems like every time there's new cars that come out, especially like Carrera, they made a change to some of their wheels, and it's like,
All their new wheels, I
yeah,
think they're, on the hub, the outside of the rib is wider than the inside.
yeah,
So that changes the, how we make the tire, how the
yeah,
mold is made. It's not like the older ones where they were the same on the inside and out. Because looking at some of the old cars, you can tell by looking at the inside of the tire when you flip it inside out that they're the same rib on, that
right.
holds onto the tire, same inside and, on the inside and outside of the tire.
So you said
um,
you are operating like 6 days a week most
in
weeks,
the
trying
winter.
to in the winter. Okay,
Yeah.
just trying to keep up with race season. Yeah. So
Yeah.
summer relaxes a little bit, so that gives you some time to relax and
Yeah. It
Yeah.
does. You know, I do have to say, last year I did super tires primarily on my own. My husband would help on Fridays and, all day on Friday because he had a full-time job. Um, just to help, keep things stocked up and filled. Over the summer, I'm supposed to be stocking everything up, but we've also had new molds come out and that I'm stocking up on. It's really kind of weird because my husband and I had a goal. This is something he always wanted to do, but it made more sense for me to do it. And I'm like, I'm all for it to take it over and learn how to do this. So my son would teach me how to pour, and my husband would teach me how to strip and clean the molds. So it is definitely it's a hard, dirty job. I
Yeah.
can say that, but it was totally worth it because now we're at the point where my husband put in his notice. We had this planned that I'm kind of a Dave Ramsey listener, so we had to get our finances in order and
Right.
get everything ready. So, we paid off a few things, and within by the August 29th, he will be working with me full time. So I do not anticipate on being behind having anything back ordered or anything. So we are, like I told you, he's my silent partner. He's going to be my full time silent partner here in a couple of weeks. So we will be working side by side down here in the shop, and I'll be pouring, he'll be stripping. And then, when we get like a little break, maybe around the holidays, I can show him how to pour. So, between the two of us, something will always be going on, and we'll both know how to do each other's jobs. When my dad was teaching my husband and my son how to do super tires, he taught Charlie, my son, how to pour, and he taught my husband how to strip the molds. And, they both do a very good job. My dad was very meticulous. So when they taught me how to do it, I hope I do a good job. I think I do because
Yeah.
nothing, no tire leaves this house or this shop with a hole or anything, any kind of bubble in it. It shouldn't
Yeah.
because, we quality control every single one before it goes into the bucket. So,
That's awesome.
but yeah, yeah.
So when you build a mold, like how many tires do you get out of that? Uh, because I don't think I've ever really
Well,
watched the process.
124 scale molds, we have to keep them. They're about the size, a little bit bigger than a brick. They're heavy too.
Right.
So we have to keep them big enough to get apart, or
Gotcha.
small enough to take them apart. So there's like 6 pair on a
Okay.
124 scale mold, and generally in a 132nd scale mold, you have 12 pair of tires.
Okay.
Generally, HO there's 22.
Okay.
22 pairs. So, you leave enough space for, to get the tire off the pin and everything. But,
Right.
my dad used to do all the designing for all the pins and all the molds. And I don't do that. I don't have those. I mean, that would be, I'd have to go back to school for that. No, not really.
Right.
But I would really have to pay attention and measure, figure out everything. Because I have all of my dad's drawings of all of his molds that he made, and he would just send them to the machine shop, and they would make the molds, the pins, and everything. So it was all set up. Me, on the other hand, at the same time when my dad was not doing well, the machine shop was bought by their biggest customer. So when he passed, I also had to find a new machine shop. And I'm very thankful I got a good one
Yeah.
because Rich really is, he understands the hobby because he also does RC cars himself and trains. So he's into hobbies. So I have a pretty good guy that comes up with those CAD drawings for me.
That's great.
And I do pay a little bit more for it, but it's worth it because he is just incredibly intelligent. So we're very blessed to have a good guy to make our molds.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And he's local.
Yeah, and he's local to you. Yeah, it's always
Yeah.
good to be able to use people who you kind of live near and around and understand who you are. And I mean, I think that
Yeah.
I work for a community bank, and
Yeah.
we focus right here in the communities where we have branches. I only have 6 branches, so we're not a huge bank, but like we're important to the community. Like if we were not there, they would feel it, right? And I feel
Sure.
like if you have the opportunity to work with people who are in your community, then it bodes well for everyone. So that's cool that you found somebody who was close. You didn't have to work with somebody overseas, or you didn't have to work with somebody across the country, and you found somebody local.
Well, that would take a little time, but
Yeah.
the mailing and stuff back and forth. Um, but I bank local myself, a small branch locally. I love it because you know everybody, they know you when you walk in.
Right.
Totally love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I get this all the time since I do our bank's marketing. One of the things, everybody will say that they do customer service great, right? You go to any bank and they're going to say, we do customer service great. I had a customer call me at 11 p.m. the other night, and I had to laugh because I know he was just trying to get my voicemail in my office,
Okay.
but my office phone transfers to my mobile phone, and I answered, and he just was in shock, and he's like, "Why are you answering the phone?" I said, "Because you obviously have a problem if you're calling me at 11 o'clock. If there's something I can do right now, I'm going to try to help you." And he's like, "I'll call you in the morning. This is why I bank with you." And he hung up. I said, "There you go."
Wow.
So then, and that's important. So I go back and I
Yeah.
share with my boss that story, and he's like, "Don't answer the phone at 11 p.m." I'm like, "I know, I just couldn't help myself," but it's kind of what you do. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what does the future
Um,
look like for Super Tires? Like, what do you?
well, that's a good question. Because I talk about that a lot. I think about that a lot. I think I do more talking and my husband does more listening, but he's like, that sounds good. So, our is, right now, it's just going to be me and my husband. When my son is in the Army National Guard and he's currently deployed, so he won't be home till November. He's been gone since January. We always, kind of wanted to see if this is something he wanted to do and take over. So we'll see what the future brings. Right now he's a military boy, so he's, doing those things. But right now for my husband and I, our future is just to come out with new tires as often as we can. We have some catching up to do. There's a lot of cars out there that do need tires, and we plan on getting there, a little bit at a time. This year I got a total of 10 coming out altogether, which is a really big investment actually. So by
Right.
the time end of August comes, we'll be focusing on marketing those. But our future is we plan on doing this for as long as we possibly can until we don't want to.
Sure.
And if this is something Charlie wants to do, because he was first shown how to do it, it was my dad's dream that, Charlie or somebody, would in the family would take it over. But we'll see where Charlie wants to go. There's so much to learn though. You can't just jump right into this.
Right.
You have to understand the hobby a little bit. I think we've all had fun with slot cars. Then there's the science to it. So, but the future, yeah, my husband Todd and I are gonna, keep it going for as long as we can. We keep up on everything we can, between the website, learning a lot there. There's things I stepped away from websites because when I first started helping my dad develop a website, it was on Microsoft Front Page.
Right.
So that's how long ago that was. And now everything's done on WordPress. So I definitely want to make changes there, but we're going to keep it going as long as, Todd and I possibly want to. And if it's something Charlie doesn't want to do, then our goal is to someday find somebody that loves the hobby, loves super tires, and is willing to, because we have a registered trademark on the name, so we own the intellectual property as well.
Right.
So nobody could use super tires in a slot car and or model car type business, but a regular automotive field, I think somebody might do that in Florida right now, but I'm not sure it's trademarked. But
Yeah.
anyway, but our future is just do it until we want to retire, and find somebody that wants to keep it going. We just, you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
somebody who loves it, who's passionate about it, and wants to live slot cars.
Yeah.
So that's our
That's
goal.
the interesting thing about the hobby, right? Like, it is, people who find themselves in the hobby are super passionate about it, right?
Yeah.
They get excited about certain brands. They get like cars, and it's cool that you got a new tire coming for the Revo slot because that is a super popular um, class at the club that we race at Bruce's. So my
Yeah.
brother and I and my buddy John Mark that come over all the time, that they're usually in the background racing during live streams. Um, that's where we go to race, and the months we do the Revo slot, like, everybody comes out for it. Everybody really loves that car, so that's
Yeah.
exciting that you got a new tire coming for that. Then
I
the
saw
nine,
that on Bruce's schedule.
yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
usually. I haven't looked at the schedule yet. He's mixed it up a little bit on us this year.
Yeah.
Usually it's like the second month, but I think it might be the third month. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and that's when we first went. That's where I first experienced tires because we ordered from Bruce. So when I started the track in February of 2022, I think is when I built the track, and we didn't know anything about it, like nothing. But we knew that like we needed more grip, and the Carrera tires, all we had were Carrera cars. And so I reached out to Bruce, and he's like, "Oh, I've got tires for that," and he sent super tires, and we were like, "This is a game changer on the Carrera track for us." But we were still running magnets, and then the first time we went down to visit the shop on a race night, we had never run without magnets, and so Daryl, our buddy, he's in the chat. He's like, "I've got cars for you guys. You can run them." And that was the first time we ever ran no magnet, and the difference, it was surprising how well those cars ran with no magnets, and it had a lot to do with like the grip was so good. And Bruce has an old Carrera track that's seen like millions and millions of miles,
Sure.
and those cars, they still hook up. So we've been super tire fans for a long time.
So when you were racing in your basement when you started, you were racing just with the stock tire
Yep,
that came on the car?
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. Just what
Wow.
comes on a Carrera, and we were just so new, we didn't really know what was out there yet, and we saw that there were tires, but we had no experience with like what was better, and so people
Yeah.
were telling us, um, I'd started the YouTube channel and was like, "Help, we need help," and people were like, "Oh, treat your rubber tires with this, and that'll give you more grip," and then we discovered silicone, and we tried urethane, we tried other things, and we just kept coming back to silicone, just because they work so well in Carrera. And then we went to our first wood track, and that's what they ran silicone. So our cars were pretty good on the wood track the first time. Um, but then we go to another race, and it's using something different that we have no idea how to prep, and that was always a learning curve. So, but it's been good. But yeah, people in the hobby are passionate. So I think that
Yeah.
if it doesn't stay in the family, I'm sure that there's somebody out there that would carry the same passion that you have for the hobby, and really that was birthed from your dad, right? That
Yeah.
started that passion. So, and I've had Bruce has talked about Nick, and just how passionate he was about providing the best tires he could provide to the hobby, and which is awesome.
Yeah, to be, and going back, this history page, I printed it out. I must have read it 3 or 4 times, and I know 90% of that by heart. But literally, I think Super Tires was having that slot car track was a dream come true for him because it was just a local success. People would come, like, literally would drive 50 miles just to come race on a Tuesday night. And I was like, very like, well, you probably do that,
Yeah,
so it was just amazing. It was a dream come true for him. And when Super Tires took off, and REH took all of his, sold all of his tires, and it's so funny how that all happens because. And then he ended up doing business with them for such a long time. They were his U.S. distributor for forever. They even started bagging and tagging the tires like for retail ready because my dad would send them to him in bulk. It was just a dream come true for him.
yeah,
This whole thing, knowing that he had to get out of the bricklaying business and working with concrete and all that dust, it affected his lungs and his heart a little bit. And having this to do, and literally just reclaiming an income doing this, it was amazing for him. I couldn't even believe what my dad built in 1995. I graduated in 93. I really had no idea what my dad was getting into, and back then, I mean, because I was a teenager off doing my own thing.
right.
And here 30 years later, it's like I am so happy to be doing this, that I don't know. It's just, I really think about it a lot. I talk about it a lot. I watch YouTube videos a lot. That's funny because, when it comes to YouTube, I'll just YouTube slack cars like in the search engine, and I'll just start watching, people put time and effort into their little videos. And I'm like, I want to learn what I can. I mean, I do, I shouldn't probably say this, but I'm going to. One thing I want to learn how to do is true a tire. I've never actually trued one. My husband knows how to and everything, but I want to do it myself.
Yeah,
I mean, I just learned how to. my stepfather showed me how to solder. So I had to solder one of my mixing machines, and I'm like, and I know he knows how to solder, and he did it for me, but now I know how to do it.
Right.
A hot solder, not a cold solder. I didn't even know there was a difference. So I'm willing to learn anything I need to learn to do it, to fix my machines or whatever. And it's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun. You know, but I mean, YouTube is great because I watch Dave Kennedy, so I see what kind of new cars are coming out. I don't think I can miss that. When I work, I'll listen to things. I don't. I'll watch. I'll peek at it if something sounds interesting. I listen to most of my podcasts and stuff like that. But there's a lot of good ones out there. Obviously, when Bruce told me about you and I sent you the banner, and some tires. That was like the first time I started stepping out and I guess you can call that promoting or whatever, but
Yeah.
I never really did that before. So it's new to me.
Yeah.
So
Well, I will tell you, I was so excited to get that because my, my joke with my brother was, I want to start this YouTube channel, and if I can just get like, if I could just get, if I could make enough money from it to buy a slot car, that would be awesome. I said, and then maybe somebody will send me a product to test, and I could talk about it on the channel. That would be really cool. And so when Bruce was like, "Hey, I told Pamela that she needed to maybe send you an email," and you sent that email and asked for my address and sent the poster and some tires. I mean, the banner and some tires. I was pretty excited about that because that was the first time I'd had a manufacturer reach out to me, and I
yeah.
was like, "Oh man, this feels good. Like somebody's paying attention to my channel," and it was fun. But I think the phone conversation we had when you talked about being a sponsor, that's pretty special to me, and I really appreciated that phone call, and it was a great conversation, and which is why you're here. I wanted to learn more about you and your husband, and why super tires were important to you, because you're important to the hobby. People having choice in a hobby is good. When there's no choice and you're kind
Yeah.
of stuck, that's when things get stagnant, and that's when a hobby struggles. But right now, we always talk about it on the live stream. It is an awesome time to be in the hobby. And so when you say
Oh,
that
it
you were
is.
so busy, that's great to hear that you were so busy during last season that it was tough to keep up with orders. That's exciting.
Well, we knew it was time to create a date for Todd to come home to do this. So do this with me. I mean, we had a goal in mind and we're
Yeah.
just glad it happened this year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
It
That's
is really
awesome.
exciting though. All these, what makes it interesting is the 3D printing. I don't have a 3D printer, but I thought about it. Some people 3D print, like obviously the cars, the wheels, um, and some people make molds that way too. I find this fascinating. There's never any end to what you can do to a slot car at this point, and you can be totally creative and innovative on your own. It's amazing to see what's out there.
It is.
There's this one guy, I think Bobcat Tires, you talked about him once.
Yeah.
I think he 3D prints his molds.
I think
And
he
I
does
know
too.
they're urethane. Does he 3D print them?
Yep. Yep.
Because I checked out his site on Etsy. Oh my gosh, amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, what a variety he was able to come out with very quickly. I think that's really cool what people can do.
Yeah. Yeah. Bob, we met Bob racing. We went racing at the Cave, which is a up near Cleveland, and
Hmm.
he's from over, I think, near Akron, and he races with a buddy of ours, Daniel, who's in the chat tonight. Saw him on Saturday, but he's friends with that group up there, and just a great guy. And he sent me some tires. Actually, was the first tire that I had for the new the the NASCAR Carrera,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
because I
Yep.
that
Yep.
car wasn't great on the stock rubber, and he's like, "Hey, I made tires real quick, and I'm gonna send you a set." And I put them on for my wood track because that's what I'm running urethanes on my wood oval, and that tire worked great. And I put them on a
Yeah.
set on another scratch build car that I had, that I sent to Shotgun Dave, and they work great on his track or on Harry Wise's track because his oval they use urethane, so they're real particular.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they work great, and he's a great guy. So
I think he came out with the NASCAR tires before anybody did for aftermarket. Because a guy down in Florida, Joe with Slot Car Raceway and Hobby Shop, he called me. He goes, Pam, he goes, you got to come out with a NASCAR tire because there's this guy who we have people at our track that are buying these urethane tires from somewhere up there by you. I said, well, that's great. I said, ours are in the mix. We're
Yeah.
making them. I said, but when I take a car to the machine shop, I have to wait until he has time to fit that in. It's not like, you just drop it off in a week or two, you have a mold. It's when they have time to design it and everything.
Yeah.
So, but it was exciting because, it's exciting that people get excited about these cars. Actually, I have my NASCAR car here. I was just testing the tires out again earlier because I hear Carrera's coming out with four more of them this year.
That's the rumor.
Yeah.
For more, yeah, just different liveries, same car, same
Same
mold, I
car,
think.
same wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see them. Actually,
Yeah.
I like NASCAR.
Well, I
So,
think that was probably, especially in the United States, but that was a super popular car when they released that. Highly anticipated from Carrera, and um, it was obvious because a lot of them sold out pretty quick. I think
yeah.
the one I have is the Chase Elliott car, the number
Okay.
9. I was a big Bill Elliott fan when I was a kid, and so I kind
Yeah.
of followed Chase because of that. And so that's my buddy John Mark picked that one up for me and surprised me with it. Um, and yeah, that they look great. Carrera, I think it's one of the best cars Carrera has released in quite a few years. Just the detail, they look
Probably.
phenomenal.
The licensing, that's
Yeah,
what helps. I mean,
yeah,
they needed the licensing for it, but they are definitely cool cars. I have the Hendrix one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Kyle Larson,
Yeah.
that's my brother. He's a big Kyle Larson fan. So
I think I just picked it because it was blue. I don't really have
it,
a favorite racer right now, but
yeah,
back in the 90s and early 2000s, I sure did.
yeah.
I was always, I did watch Bill Elliott growing up and all that. And I think I was a Tony Stewart fan for quite a while. And then I just ended up just liking cars in general, just liking probably more or less I would probably pick the Chevy. I always just was a Chevrolet fan, but I ended up we watch it now just for fun, you know. My husband likes the road course races, like the one at Watkins Glen a
Oh
couple
yeah,
weeks ago. He likes the road course races. Um, I'm okay with it. They're hard to follow. They seem so difficult to
yeah.
race on,
Yeah. Well, you
but
think about, like what's usually on that road course is like these lightweight, very nimble cars,
yes.
and then you throw a stock car out there, and just how competitive that it can be is it's a lot of fun when you see them 3 wide going through a turn that Formula One would definitely not be 3 wide. It would just be one car
No,
going through a
not with
turn.
open wheel
Yeah,
cars. Yeah,
yeah. So it's pretty wild. I do have some questions. I've been kind of saving
sure.
them as we go. So I'll just throw them out here, and I'm just checking to make sure I don't have any more out there. Um, let's see. Here we go. The first one was KR. Uh, oops. KR Bridges, and it just disappeared. What happened to it? Hang on. KR. Well, I'll have to go back find it. This one is from Carrie Weiss. Would like to see a more detailed way to look up tires per slot car model. The current one is a bit confusing sometimes. And I think
Okay.
you'd mentioned to me that you've been working on that a little bit.
Yeah, what I'm trying to do on our website, we have a 132nd scale spec page. My dad was all into charts, and to me that I find that to be a little confusing. So that's why I came up with the page to like find your, well, you know what? I had so many over the past couple of years, people wanting more of a chart where they could just look up their make and model and find the tire, and I'm pretty sure every other people are familiar with that. So I did the same thing. I
Right.
just, it was easier for me to do the same thing. My goal in the website is to have a search bar. Somebody can put in their 132nd scale, say like Mustang GTY, and 1313 would come up. That would be the part number. But that's going to take me a little bit of time to build that database to do
Right.
that. But that is the future goal. But right now I just have a PDF of, well, no, an Excel spreadsheet of, make, model, and then the tire number. We're working on that.
Yeah.
Definitely want to make it more user friendly. So there are three links on one of the tabs on the website where you can choose the Google form, Excel form, or Numbers form, depending on whatever format you prefer for a spreadsheet. But I'm trying to keep that updated as often as I know of a car that fits. We have a tire that fits a car that we have. There's so many cars out there that we have tires for. I personally don't know it, but we're trying to figure them all out, because that racetrack is not here locally anymore for me to be
Right.
able to do that. And quite an inventory you'd have to build just to be able to
Right.
inventory in cars just to do that. So I do rely on, I email Bruce a lot.
Yeah.
I do. I email Bruce a lot. I ask him a lot of questions. He's so busy, but he always,
Oh,
at least responds.
he's a great guy.
So it's just, I depend on him a lot. I do, for 132nd and 124 scale. But
Yeah.
I hope that answers that guy's question. We're working on it. We
Yeah.
we have a sheet similar to, you know, other people that are
Right.
out there, that to make it easy to find.
Yeah. So, KR's question, it's what super tire size works for the Pioneer Trans Am cars.
Oh, you
You're
know
gonna
what?
you're gonna test
I had that
Pamela's
question the other day.
memory.
It's a 19, well, Pioneer is 1900 or 1901.
Okay.
Those are our
Are you-
Pioneer specific tires. So, well, like I have the Dukes of Hazzard car back here, the Dodge Charger or
Yeah.
Challenger, whatever Charger. That's a 1901R.
Okay. There you go,
So
KR.
I'll have to look that up. Don't test me. Don't make. I don't have that chart in front of me.
And then,
But yeah.
yeah. So, and then Lucy, for Raceway says, does Super Tires ship to dealers in Europe?
Yes, but I do actually have a distributor in Europe. That would be Slot Car Dreams out of Austria. He does ship to Europe, a lot of
Okay.
Europe, like Germany, Switzerland. There's several of them listed there. And we have a guy in Australia too that distributes to hobby shops in Australia.
Very good. And then Jerry asks, if urethane is a little bit of her business or a lot. I,
Um, a little bit.
yeah.
We are probably 90% silicone,
Sometimes. Yeah.
but we do supply all of our urethane tires in 132nd scale and 124 scale.
Yeah. That's cool. And then Michael Squire, he says, does Super Tire make urethanes too? I was late. Sorry. Yes. Yes, Michael,
Yep.
they do make
Yep.
urethanes. And you carry like all of the model. Can you use the same mold for that? Right.
Yes, I
Okay.
can use the same mold. We just have to clean them very well in between, because
Between.
what urethane deposits silicone, or what silicone deposits urethane leaves a deposit on a mold. So you got to clean it very well before you pour a silicone in there, because that's the only time you'll see sometimes a silicone rip is when it gets stuck to the mold. I
Gotcha.
mean, we use a spray release, but you really, we have to take it down to bare bone scratch. I mean,
Yeah.
we have to clean it very well before we can do a silicone pour.
Yeah.
So it does take time. But
Yeah.
yes, we use the same molds.
Let's see. I'm just scanning to see if there are any more questions. Robert says, good evening. Q question. Greg asks, any thoughts of doing rubber tires?
Probably not. I think too many people, I think they're, don't, that's usually what comes out on a slot car is a rubber tire
Right.
anyway, right?
Right.
So probably not. No. I would need to hire people. I would need to hire more people just to keep up with that. Why is there a market for it?
Um,
Hate
I
to
think
ask that, but
I
I'm being candid.
no, I think Greg is probably referring to the new the new rubber that's like foam, like
Oh, the
the
NSR.
like
Yeah,
the
you were telling me
NSR
about.
and the Scale Auto that they're releasing, that it works really well on the the high grip plastic track Polycar Scale Auto Pro Track. So
Yeah.
Gre- Greg's Greg's a Bud Slots is Greg Kessler, who owns Velocity slot car racing parts, and he does um, like brushless motor kits for cars and things like for 132nd
Right.
scale. And but we race with him, and they've been talking a lot about those tires. So I'm not surprised that that question came out.
Well, that's a good
Um,
question. There's a lot out there.
yeah. Filthy says I am 90% silicone. And I think it's funny how that works. If you look at like the hobby in general, there is a big pocket of silicone users kind of in the Midwest, and
Yeah.
you go out, to California, and depends on the speedway, I think, or the raceway, but there's a kind of a good mix there. And then you go other places and they're rubber only, and I think it has to do with if you've used rubber and you rubber in your track, you don't want to clean that off,
Right.
and silicone will pull that rubber off. But if you run a clean track, I think that a lot of people run silicone. So,
Some people run both, actually. It's kind of funny because you put silicones on the back and zero grips on the front,
yep,
and that's silicone and urethane. Those
yep,
are,
together.
urethanes are on the front. So I always wondered how that affected the track.
Well, I think because it's zero grip, um, that's
It
probably
doesn't
that's a
deposit
harder,
as much.
yeah, it's a harder compound, right? A
Yeah.
durometer, and so I don't think that it leaves a residue, and like rubber will leave rubber down, and then urethane kind of polishes that rubber,
Yeah.
and like that's where you get the big black marks on some of those wood tracks. We see
Yeah.
it. So um, let's see. Curvy says, I'm looking at the spreadsheet. Carrera Porsche GT3 RSR has listed 4 different tire parts.
Okay, so we're going to narrow those down. Generally, it would be the one in the middle. So that's probably like a tire. I'm assuming that one is probably like 1402, 3 and 4 maybe. If
Mhm.
I'm correct, I'm not looking at it. I would probably pick the 3, 1403.
Yeah, yeah. Curvy, I think that usually the difference in those numbers is a little bit of height and a little bit of width, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But they all fit the same,
So
wheel.
all
It's
fit the same wheel. Yeah. So if you're trying to
yeah,
get, go with a little lower number, if you're trying to get that chassis as close to the track as possible, is what I
right.
have discovered. Um, but sometimes it does change how the tire works. So like the 1403s, that's what I use on just every one of my NSRs. But I've tried the 1402s and lower, and they just they don't seem to perform. They're just different. Not that they don't perform
Too
as
low.
well, but they're just like they get too low, and I'll have the chassis scraping the track, and we try to not not do that. We try to keep the chassis off the track. But anyway, let me see. There was another one. Greg, all good. Yep, you got it, Marty. With the new plastic track surface of Scale Auto and Polycar, is there any testing being done for those or thoughts? Um, but yeah, Steve says, can you make a mold that would have the pre-rounded sidewall? You do on most of your tires, right? You've got a rounded outside.
Always around it outside. Where
Yeah.
you mean? Are you talking about pre-run on the inside, the part of the tire that's on the inside of the car? Maybe that's what he's talking about. So
Yeah.
all of our new molds, anything that we've come out with at this point on, has always got one side radius, which would be the side that
Yeah.
you'd see on the exterior of the car.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're working on getting rid of the sharpness on
Yeah.
the inside. We're working on that, and I'll talk about this white tire in a minute.
Yeah. I saw somebody post about those. I don't know. It must have been yesterday on Facebook. There was a
Yeah,
shout out about them. Um,
yeah.
Little slots. Says all zero grips are urethane. Did not know that.
Ours are.
Yeah.
Ours are your like 60 durometer urethane. So it's a very firm tire.
Yeah.
Very firm urethane.
Yeah. I found out one that I got them mixed up one time and put them on the rear, and I was like, "What is wrong with this car?"
No traction.
No traction.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, Curvy explained. So the 1407 would be a thinner tire than the 1410. Correct. Yes,
Yes.
that is correct. Chris posted a link to Cincy slots for super tires. There you go.
Yep.
And what
Bruce
else?
buys both silicone and
Yep.
urethane.
Yeah, you can get both
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you have there? Talk about that.
This is our white tire. It's a 1403R. So a guy named Ray Lego reached out to me weeks ago about coming if I would make colored tires, and of course I'll make a colored tire as long as there's a pigment for it. And we make white tires now in some of the slot car for the HO slot cars. So I made these in the 1403R. What they have here is a big race coming up on September 20th, and it's at Marciano Speedway in Pennsylvania, Township, Pennsylvania, I think it is. So they have an NSR car that they are racing, and he wanted to know if I'd make white tires for it. So every racer is coming out who is going to be at the race. I think there's 30 racers are going to get a pair of these super tires. Now he had posted on a couple of places in Facebook. I think Slap Boys, Slot Car Kids, that is his nonprofit
Right.
organization, and to name this tire. So and so the winner was going to get a car donated to them from Slot Car Kids, from Ray Lego's nonprofit organization. So the winner, there were several names out there, but the winner was Ghost Grips. I think these are
Nice.
really cool. They're the same durometer as our black silicone. This is a silicone tire. So it runs really well. I sent him some tires. He gave me some feedback, and kind of looking forward to it now because I'm going to be sending them 40 or 50 pair. And Rich from GT Slots is going to get about 30 or 40 pair. And, color tires are funny. People either love them or hate them, or,
Right.
don't have a preference, but I sent you some fluorescent ones, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Did
And
I?
and
And I was making them.
the guys, I didn't take them on Saturday because they wanted them. They were going to raid my tire box because when I showed a picture to the guys, I'm in a text group with a bunch of guys, and I
Sure. Yeah.
posted a picture of the fluorescents, and they were like, "I want those! I want." They were all excited about them, but
It is
yeah,
so cool though.
yeah,
These
they look
these are the
great.
orange ones. I think they are. I mean, they're neat. My dad started off making fluorescent ones for the HO cars, and I'll tell you, on a little car, those things are fantastic.
Yeah,
Especially, like the old, the Mega G cars. They look like the Indy cars, like the old Marlboro one. So those orange tires would look sweet on that car.
yeah,
But I dabbled with making glow in the dark ones. Still working on that.
yeah. The so so does that mean that, well, since you did it for Ray, you probably would be open to pouring a specific tire for an event, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I would not do like I would not just do it for, and I say this nicely. I wouldn't do it just for somebody who wanted one or two pair. I have to make the whole mold of them. Um, um, the whole mold
Yeah.
of that, like say fluorescent orange. So yeah, I would definitely make. I've made red tires for a special event before. My dad used to make Revos in green and red at one time. So everybody was racing the same, so I don't know, I don't remember the races. So everybody they knew what they were running. You know what I mean? So one class had the green, the other class had the red, or group, they
Yeah.
divided it up. But yeah, I would definitely be open to making color tires. I just won't put them on the website.
Sure. That's cool.
It's
Yeah.
just too busy.
Yeah. When I think that, like, for a large race event, when you're wanting to do like a handout tire, it really helps keep keep that in check, right? So people aren't using things they're not supposed to use. So
There's a question there.
yeah,
Does Pam know about the rings that her dad sent out to people? You know about the rings? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I have one here. I have a bucket of those rings. My dad made these fat silicone rings with the big circle on it. They had super tires in it. I wish I had one right here. I know I have one hanging in my car just to remember my dad, but he remembers the rings.
yeah,
Wow.
that's really cool,
Yeah,
Roger.
that was a long
Thanks for
time
sharing
ago.
that. Yeah, that's
Wow.
that's cool. Let me see here. White tires are the sure way to know if the track is clean. Yeah, that's right.
For sure. Yeah,
Uh,
to clean your track, run a silicone.
yeah, yep. Killer tires are great for big events. Yeah, yeah. The white tires look really cool. I love them. Yeah, we Ray just raced at the Slot at Nationals. Um,
Yes.
and he did a great track call episode with Electric Dreams. It was interesting to hear him talk about his nonprofit.
Yeah.
That's what I enjoyed about that conversation. It's really cool to see how people are using the hobby to like mentor and change, change the trajectory of kids' lives or people's lives. And
Yeah.
I think there's still a lot of room for that in the hobby in other ways. Um, the whole time I've been in this hobby and with the YouTube channel, it's like, how can I make a difference? Making a difference is important to me. And, like it's just cool what he's doing. So awesome that he came up with the white tire for him. That's cool.
Yeah. It's really fun. I think that's getting that must be a big race out there. So I wanted to go to it. I asked Todd if we can drive down to it, but it's the same day that they're doing a benefit for actually his boss's son. His boss's son was flown out from Buffalo to a Boston Children's Hospital because he's in a coma. So they're doing a benefit the same day. So I'm like, let's support, your boss before we, drive anywhere else because they really, yeah, there's a family out there hurting. So I'm gonna like, do that,
Yeah. Yep.
definitely.
For sure.
Hey, when it comes to sharing the hobby though, I think, getting the young ones involved is fun. I mean, we should be doing that. I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully that they're open to it too. There's nothing like taking something apart and putting it back together, understanding why and how it works.
Right. Yeah. I think that there's just so much that can happen there through this hobby. Just the just spending time with somebody teaching them anything. There's a
Yeah.
there's moments there um, to really have an impact. So yeah, I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of different uh, people who do slot car YouTube content, um,
Yeah.
and everybody is trying to figure out how, like, because their channel has grown a little bit and they've got
Yeah.
some subscribers and people who are part of their community. It's like, okay, so now how can I take that, not take advantage of it, but just understand that you have a voice that more people might be able to hear. And so how you can make change and how you can do good. It's really about doing something good more than,
Yeah, it
more than just
is.
the hobby. Right. Yeah. So anytime we have an opportunity to do that it's important. People are loving the colors, Pamela. Lots of
Cool.
love in the chat for the colors. I've got a few people
Cool.
asking if the fluorescents are available. And nope, those were for handout races, right? So the colors,
The fluorescents?
yeah,
Oh, the fluorescent tires that I made though, somebody requested them.
yeah.
Actually, Rich from GT Slots has them on his website right now, all the
Oh yeah,
fluorescent colors that I made.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
So, I mean,
So
he requested them, so I made them. I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And I mean, I have a couple of other Oh, I blocked it out. See, I put the shipping boxes behind me because I didn't want to like give away all my proprietary information, but they're all behind me, all the fluorescent colors. I'm gonna dabble in other ones, find some new pigments so that are easier to use for silicone.
nice.
So, yeah.
So does the pigment impact anything with the silicone? Is there
Um,
a
you
chemistry
know,
piece to it?
if anything, I mean, it's still just as grippy. It's just a little harder to mix some of them than others. I prefer
Gotcha.
to use like a liquid, like a kind of looks like a jar, like a putty. I like using those type of pigments other than powders and other things like that because, well, the powders you don't want to breathe in. You have to be careful, but it does
Right.
make it feel a little firmer.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually test the durometer of these. I should. I doubt it's off at all. It's very close to the 45 that our silicones are. It's either 40 or 45. Because I tested all the 132nd scale and HO tires at one time on wheels just to see what the difference between the
Right.
black and the colored ones are, just to see if there was a difference, and there isn't very much of a difference. So it doesn't change the grip or anything.
Yeah. Bill says my wife just came by and saw the interview and said, "A woman?" I said, "Yep, she sells slot car tires," and she said it was cool to see a woman-ran business in the hobby. And I would have to agree. I think it's awesome. I think it's great that you um, and your husband are doing this together.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the really cool part.
it's fun.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking for any more. What people are giving you suggestions? What about a black and white swirl?
Well,
Zebra.
actually, those probably the ones that I did have were 2114 Rs, and Rich has those as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Whatever I had, I'll never make. I don't know if I'll make the swirl. It looks like a marble. But they're, I'm pretty sure they might be available on GT's website,
Okay.
Great Traditions.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
guys, check out Great Traditions, and you might be able to find those fluorescents there or some other colors.
Everything that I had that my dad had in a color at one time that I had an
Yeah.
inventory of, I just recently sent him and said, hey, because he expressed interest in color tires. I'm like,
Right.
this is what I got. Are you interested? And, so he has
Yeah.
them all.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Um, my this is my brother. Slot cars has changed the trajectory of my retirement plan because he can't stop buying cars. That's his problem. Um, John Albright says we need more ladies in the hobby. I agree. Hey Steve, let me see if there are any more
Now, right
questions.
there,
Yep,
there's a woman in the hobby
yep.
there. I think
Steve's
I follow
sister.
them.
Yep,
I pay attention to them on YouTube.
yep. I do too.
Yep.
Steve sent me actually. I only have one HO car, and Steve sent it to me, and he has it set up to run on Carrera. And that car, we crank up the power to like 22 volts, and it's crazy to drive. Um,
Wow.
I can see why people enjoy HO because it's just so fast.
It
Um,
actually is. I mean, if there's this company out in Utah called Viper Scale Racing.
yeah,
I mean, they make parts and accessories for all slot cars, but they also make their own. I mean, they have their own. I mean, and they're super wicked fast. You got to see, I mean, you got to check them out. I mean,
yep,
I think it's really incredible what people do in this hobby because they have a huge business and they sell so many different parts, like over 700 parts for
wow,
HO slot cars. Yeah. So,
yep,
I watch his videos too. I actually watch everything because it's exciting.
yeah, it is.
So,
And when there's
yeah.
so much content out there right now, it is kind of crazy. It's kind of hard to keep up with it all, but I give it a shot every evening. My wife is like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, I'm just watching some more more slot car YouTube stuff. Carrie says, any super tire stickers and banners available? I have some stickers. Pamela sent me stickers. Carrie, send me your address. I will drop some in the mail along with a 2 lines sticker. And I'm sending 2 line stickers to Pamela. So for people who actually win, she's going to drop a 2 line
Yeah.
sticker in with your tires. So
So, as regarding banners, I'll eventually get some merchandise, a merch tab put back
yeah,
up on the website where I'll have like t-shirts and banners. I just kind of haven't refilled any of that in the past year. I will work on that. It's just been an entirely busy year coming up with new tires and expanding the shelves. And yeah,
yep,
it's a lot of work. So,
yeah,
I
it
will do
is.
that.
And that's the one thing that people don't really, I don't think in consideration, that merch costs you money and it sits there for a
Yeah.
while sometimes. And so you've got money invested in that. And like I did a run of t-shirts and I kind of like just did a pre-order so I wouldn't over order. And it's still like it was expensive to do. So it makes it
Well,
tough.
when some of my merchandise sat for a while, though, I ended up, when I was sponsoring some racing clubs and stuff like that, if I was sponsoring them and giving them tires, I would send some T-shirts with it. I did
Yeah.
that with the one of the Hoper races that I helped sponsor because they have many sponsors for the HO Hoper race. But I pretty much just kind of started giving that away, when it sat a little bit, when somebody was looking for sponsorship, I'd send them. So that guy BS Slots had a question back there. He said my dad used to send him funky colored tires
Yep.
a while back.
Yeah. Your dad used to send me some funky colored tires when I was working with him.
Right here,
There you go.
clear sparkles, all the different. These are old HO tires that are still functional. Yeah, that's so
That's wild.
funny. Well, reach out to me. I'll reach out to me. Send me an email. Let's get connected because I'd like to hear a little bit more about that relationship with my dad,
Yeah.
what he used to do and what he used to send you.
That's cool. Um, Muffman, I have stickers for you. Actually, I think I already have them
Okay.
in an envelope ready to go because you won the first week. I had your address.
Right.
So let's see here. What else do we have? Um, Tycho Night Glow. I had my first slot car track was the TCR Total Control Racing where it didn't have a slot and you could change lanes. Um,
Okay.
and that was the worst because there was no like way to get new tires. We just ran them until they fell apart, and then we were done racing. And that was like 1983. So um, my brother and I we wore that track out. It'd have been good to have replacement tires. Um, Steve says I known and worked with your dad for like 20 years. That's cool.
Awesome.
Oh, Roger. Pam, your dad sent me a half of a tire of every tire of 132nd he made.
And they also had candies. Cool.
Yeah.
Half of a tire?
So I was probably doing that to like just to, is it to test sizes?
Test
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is cool. Thank you. My dad was a great person. He was great.
Going to be getting some super tires for my GRL car. That's cool. Yeah, Kirby. The GRL is the global racing league where they put a track design out and everybody builds the track in Carrera and then they race and time it and live stream it. So um, that'll be fun to see Kirby's cars run. Dan at Viper is a great guy. That's from Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Super knowledgeable with HO slack cars.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I follow him on Facebook and in the YouTube channel, and yeah, he's always putting out some really really great stuff. And back when they were making tracks, made some amazing uh,
Yeah.
track HO track layouts. They're pretty wild. Let's see what else. I think I'm at the bottom. So did we cover everything that we wanted to cover
Well,
tonight?
I have something I'd like to share, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Other than that race, my dad, when he used to race go-karts growing up.
Okay.
So
My
my
dad did too.
nephew did you?
Yeah. My dad did.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, your
No, my
dad did.
yeah.
Fun because what's funny? We had all of my grandfather used to videotape all that on his reel, and we had them put on CD on well, not CD-ROM, but like flash drives.
Yeah.
It's funny to see those old days,
That's awesome.
like of what the go-karts used to look like. But anyway, my nephew raced go-karts, and now he races sprint cars. He currently races. I have a link on my Facebook page. It's for Racers Responsor.
Yep.
And on the top of that, the first one, that's my nephew, Cooper Fretz. He races a micro sprint car on the dirt track, and he also races a sprint car dirt track, but down in PA in Ohio. He races two different cars, and he has a YouTube channel there. And my dad sponsored him since he was doing go karts, so we continued doing that. He's 15 years old, and he's excellent.
Yeah.
He's an excellent racer. So, I grew up in the stock car field because my dad always sponsored stock cars at Lancaster Speedway here in New York. And so we kind of grew up at Lancaster Speedway on
Yeah.
Saturday nights watching stock cars. And now my nephew races micro sprints and sprint cars on dirt tracks. So he has super tires on the side of his car. But, anytime if you guys are looking for something to do, his YouTube channel is posted there, kind of like, watching that and people that because it's exciting and interesting to see those races. And we also sponsor my son's friend Colton and his brother Caden. They race stock cars at Lancaster, so
Nice.
we sponsor them too. So it's I think cars are just a theme in the
Sure.
family. So it's fun and exciting to be able to do all that and watch them and sponsor them.
Yeah, that's cool.
But
I love the livery on his sprint car for the 2025 season. The picture that you have on the page.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
I think that car looks fantastic. It's sharp.
Oh, you're talking about Cooper's car.
Yeah, Cooper's car.
Oh my gosh, isn't it the
Yeah, it
the
looks
one that says
fantastic. Yeah,
supertires.com? Yeah. They both, you know what? Yeah. They both are sharp looking cars.
yeah, they look great. Yeah, I was out there earlier today, and I found that page, and it was the one thing I was not going to let you get out of here without talking about. So I'm glad you brought it up.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the only thing I have left on my list to talk about. Was I was going to talk about how you sponsor your nephew, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, we grew up. We have the Atomic Speedway um, right in our backyard. It's about 15 minutes from my house, and if if he comes to Ohio and races as part of that, they race at Atomic. So I will have to like pay attention to his
They
YouTube
race the
channel. And
sprint cars there?
yeah, but so he
Okay.
runs, but he doesn't run a wing sprint. He runs non-wing, right?
Wingless.
Yeah.
He
So I
rings. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't they don't race at Atomic very often. They usually run winged sprints there, but I'll have to see if he's going to be close to us and make a trip over and
Well,
watch the race.
yeah, I want to go down to PA and see him, but it'll probably be more like next year. We'll see. We'll see what the schedule looks like. He races in a series like the Rush Car
Yeah,
series. So they're like there's a lot of tracks. PA is loaded with dirt
right.
tracks.
Oh yeah,
So they go to several of them. So it's pretty interesting actually.
yeah, yeah. When I was a kid, one of the big places over there was Williams Grove,
Yeah.
in PA, and those guys they called themselves the Pennsylvania Posse, and they would come over to Ohio, and they were always so good. They're local drivers over there. They're just very competitive, and it was always fun to have them come over and race against the Ohio guys. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's cool.
It's
Is he
funny
having a
people
good?
will travel to do
Yep,
that.
yep. Is he having a good season?
Well, I think he's having a good season. I think
Yeah,
it's gonna be a rough season too,
yeah.
um but yeah, I think he's having a pretty good season. I mean, he won his heat just last Saturday night, came second in the feature.
Nice,
And there was like I think it started off with 30 cars. That's a
nice.
lot of
Yeah,
sprint car. That was the micro sprint cars on Saturday that I went to go see.
nice. So you said he's 15.
Yes, he's an
Wow.
incredible racer. He's been
Yeah, that's
racing
awesome.
go-karts since he was like probably 3 or 4.
That's cool.
So yeah, he's very good. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a local kid to us in a little town called Frankfurt, and I've known his parents for a while, and he's 18. He just graduated from high school, and he's ran 2 weeks ago. Well, at Watkins Glen, he ran in the Xfinity race,
Yeah.
and so they're super excited about the potential of him. But he started the same in go karts. Didn't really love the dirt track as much as being on a road course, and so he's kind of become a road course. Um, that's kind of his focus, and so
Road
he's
course
yeah,
warrior.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been a lot of fun to watch him the last couple of years. I have a podcast that I do with the local chamber president. He's one of my best friends, and and we had him come on. He and his dad and interviewed him last year, and just he's already got the. I'd like to thank my sponsors, and he rolls off his sponsors, and he's already like learning to talk in front of the camera and in front of the microphone,
Yeah.
and making sure he says the right things, and it's just been fun to watch. So yeah, that's cool that you guys do
So
that.
my sister just texted me Sharon Speedway in Ohio
Yeah.
and Mercer in
Okay.
September.
Yeah.
Those are the two tracks they'll be at.
Nice. Yeah, Sharon. It's in northern Ohio. I
Yeah.
think I went there when I was a kid. I haven't been there in a long time, but yeah, very familiar with it. That's cool. So that he's racing there in September. Cool.
Well, yeah, Sharon this weekend, but in
Oh,
Mercer in
this weekend.
September. Yeah, he every weekend he's either at PA or Ohio. But
Wow.
so it's yeah,
Do
yeah,
they
they
do they
definitely
leave?
travel to
Do
do
they live
theirs.
in PA or do they live in New
No,
York?
they live here in New York.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they.
think the future for him would be I think he's always going to race.
Yeah.
I do. He's very good at it. He has the passion for it. So
Right.
I think he'll race it hopefully on a team someday,
Yeah.
or somebody will like, hey, we want you. That's going
Yeah,
to
that
be
would be
him
cool.
someday. Somebody's going to point their finger at him and say, we want you. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, let's see. Steve says, "Now I remember your logo on a car years ago. At the time, I was underexperienced in slot cars. Yeah, because he posted a minute ago Lancaster, so he was familiar with the racetrack.
yep.
Let's see here. I've got people asking for stickers from me. I'll have to, you guys, those of you who are asking for 2-line stickers, send me an email. It's in the description of my channel, and I'd be happy to drop some stickers to you. DW says, my dad had a twin Macala when I was a kid. About 25 years later, raced karts together in Cherry Valley. Yeah, I think there are a lot of people get their start in karting. Um, my brother and I, when we were really, really little, my dad probably raced it before Dusty was born. Now that I think about it, or maybe when he was a newborn, for a few years. And I just remember just how excited I was and hoped that I would get to do that one day, but I never did. It gets expensive real quick. So I stick with slot cars now. Well, I don't see any more questions. Pamela, this has been great. It's been fun having you, hearing your story. Did we cover
Thank you.
everything? I think,
I think so.
yeah. So, where can people find your tires? We know Cincy Slots is
Yes.
carries
So, like
super
on our
tires.
website, we have a tab for like dealers and distributors. You can find the ones we sell to directly, but Professor Motor is our United States distributor, and
Distributor. Okay.
they sell to a lot of hobby shops.
Right.
So there are many that have them that I don't know personally, but if you need to know, I can definitely find out. But so the ones we sell to personally are on our website.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
wish I can.
I know Bruce at Cincy Slots. I know LEB carries them. I know Oliver carries them at Professor Motor.
GT slots,
Yeah. Yeah. Great Traditions.
Electric Dreams.
Electric Dreams.
Yeah.
132 up in the Pacific Northwest, I think. Is that Alan? Does he have
Oh,
super
Alan
tires?
Smith.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah,
sells. Yeah, mostly urethane though. He's a
yeah,
urethane guy. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it's pretty easy to find if you just go to like your favorite retailer and look at their tire selection. They always have them separated out by brand, and so you
Mm-hmm.
can find them really easy. So, but yeah, Bruce is our dealer. That's who we get our super tires from because we're down there about every Thursday night for racing once the season starts in October.
Yeah.
So that just makes it easy. Um, let's see. When you crash slot cars, it doesn't hurt so bad. John
Right.
is correct. It's exactly right. Not that I would have
Yep.
any experience at crashing slot cars, but um, Larson, Sweet, Day, and the list goes on. Jim, I must be jumping in halfway through that conversation. Professor Motor is Ryan's go-to for super tires. So, but yeah, Chris says thank you for continuing your dad's passion. That's what I was going to do too. I was going to say thanks. We appreciate the great product. I appreciate you partnering with me and telling the good news of super tires out there and letting people know
Wow.
that you've got a great product. And again, I think on our phone conversation is, I use your product, and so just to accept somebody coming in as a sponsor of my channel doesn't make any sense to me if it's something I don't use. But almost every slot car I have has got super tires on it, and so I was excited when you wanted to partner with me. So it means a lot.
Thank you.
So hopefully one day we get a chance to
Same
meet
here.
in person, and we'll have to make that
Well,
happen.
we maybe we'll be able to travel a little bit more, Todd and I. We'd love to
Yeah,
come and check out Bruce's track when y'all are racing,
yeah, that would be awesome.
and
That'd be great. We'll
yeah,
get you out
we
there.
definitely want to do things differently.
Yeah,
You're gonna get
you
me out
get
there
you.
to pull the
Yeah, get you.
trigger
You'll
and
have to.
race.
Yeah, if you show up
Yeah.
on Thursdays, everybody's got extra cars. So
Yeah.
that's what happened to us. We showed up just to watch, and they were like, "There's no watching. You're going to race. If you're
No.
here, you're going to race." So that'll be
Yeah.
great. So, all right. Well, we'll wrap things up. I don't see any more questions. Everybody enjoyed the conversation, and thank you for what you do. And if there's anything I can do to help you, you just let me know, and I'll be happy to help.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. Well,
yeah,
Marty, thank you very much for allowing us to partner with you. We're
yeah,
excited about it.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Me too. It's going to be fun. So, oh,
yeah.
we have to give away tires.
Yeah.
I almost forgot. I
Yeah.
almost closed the show. So let me go through
Well,
what. Go ahead. Did you have?
no. No,
Okay.
I was just gonna say, Patrick, your tires are coming. I just have to get one more pair ready for you.
Awesome.
Just from last week. So,
And let's see. Man, we got a bunch of comments, almost 700 comments.
You know, Marty, these tires can be anything from HO 132nd or 124
Okay.
scale. They could be silicone or urethane. Okay.
All right.
Open to all of that.
Open to all of that. Okay. And today's winner is Ron at So Fast Speedway. Ron, I'm trying to think if I have your address already, Ron. If not, can you send me an email? I'll put my email in the comments. But yeah, 132nd scale, 124 HO. Put that in the
Don't forget
comments.
to send Marty your address.
Yep. Email
Yeah.
me. I just put my email in the comments. But congratulations, Ron, at So Fast Speedway. You got some silicones coming, or whatever, really whatever you need, urethane, silicones, whatever
Yeah.
you race. But send me an email and we'll get that. And Ron just commented. So Ron, you're tonight's winner. Pamela, thanks,
Cool.
appreciate it, and we'll have to do this again. We'll do periodic
Sure.
check-ins, especially if you got like
Yeah.
something new you want to announce.
Well,
That would be
yeah.
great.
Or like maybe when the new NASCARs come out from Carrera, we can, I can give one away with a set of tires.
There you,
So,
awesome. That would be
yeah.
great. Yep, we'd love to have you come back. So,
All
all
right.
right, guys,
Thank you.
thanks. And like I say every time, go have fun racing.
Yes.